Hello guys, things that are going on for a long time now about China coronavirus. I don't want to contribute about it at all. It seems everywhere is carrying the news. So I decided to talk about it in a few ways. The reason they are doing this is to break down China because the Chinese economic is the most powerful in the world today, and it is a threat for all the countries in the world, and this is why they want to destroy in one way. Ever since poor people can afford to buy things from China because of the low cost. If not China today, poor people would have been suffering. But they don't know without China we are going nowhere. I think Europe, Africa, Asia countries and America, they are the one that involved in all this. That was planned in a very long time ago by introducing coronavirus, exactly what they did to Africa countries with HIV disease. They must not forget whatever we used in our daily life has been produced in China. That is nothing without an end. There is a book everyone out there have to go through, and this book was written on a very long time ago talking about China. The name of this book is Eyes of the Darkness, written by Dean Conch in 1981. And also Napoleon Bonaparte. So, ladies and gentlemen, just watched this video I'm reviewing to everyone out there to see what exactly that is going on in China, how they are panicking people, why people have been frustrating and feeling afraid everywhere. But everyone should take it easy because, as I said before, there's nothing without an end. So everything's going to be okay. And stay tuned with this video I'm reviewing to everyone out there. So thank you very much and watch this video.
The outbreak of coronavirus causing fear and panic, with residents hunkering down.
I'm gonna put my mask on.
Hundreds of protesters have rallied against plans to turn residential buildings into quarantine centers.
I think Carrie Lam did a bad job.
And that's the reason for us to import more than 1.3 million surgical masks.
Over half a year of anti-government protests really damaged the economy here.
It was the last thing this city needed. Now, the coronavirus outbreak comes after a period of social unrest that really divided society and damaged the economy here in Hong Kong. The Anti-government protests of 2019 appear to have fizzled out, but the protest movement lives on during the outbreak, as many openly challenge the government's response. Hundreds of protesters have rallied against plans to turn residential buildings into quarantine centers. At one building, a masked group set the lobby on fire with petrol bombs. And more than 7,000 medical workers, that's nearly 10% of public hospital staff in Hong Kong, walked off the job for a week, demanding the government to seal off the border from mainland China. And like the famous 5 demands of the 2019 protests, the striking workers listed their own demands, including a travel ban on mainland Chinese visitors and a greater supply of face masks. This scene has become routine in Hong Kong, where there's been a shortage of protective supplies. The Hong Kong government under Carrie Lam has acknowledged the problem and ordered 48 million more face masks for frontline government personnel. But for some in the city, it feels like too little, too late.
I think Carrie Lam did a bad job. She's just trying to please the CPC government rather than putting the interests of Hong Kong people at the first priority.
I think the handling method is very, very bad and very disappointed as a Hong Kong citizen.
Why are you disappointed?
Because something like a surgical mask, they can't find even one for any Hong Kong citizen.
Prompting one high-profile activist to step in, Joshua Wong says his team has sourced and distributed 1.3 million masks to people across the city. And this is the headquarters of Demasisto.
And with lots of surgical masks.
All I see is surgical masks.
Yeah.
Wow. And who's getting the masks?
Elderly, underprivileged people, and also those residents in different communities. Yeah, we're under shortage, and that's why we need to tackle this public health crisis.
People think of you as an activist. They think of Demasisto as a pro-democracy activist group. Why do something like this? Why hand these out?
As the activist group based in Hong Kong, one of our important responsibility is to tackle such public health crisis together, and we have to overcome it with fellow Hong Kongers. And that's the reason for us to import more than 1.3 million surgical masks, and to prove that pro-democracy activists, apart from street activism, we can also contribute to handle public crisis.
I'm going to put my mask on because there's more people here. I'm now in Causeway Bay, a very busy shopping district, and it was over 6 months of anti-government protests that really damaged the economy here. And I remember recording from this spot, right outside the Sogo department store, and protesters in black setting up barricades, moving them up and down, gearing up for clashes with police. And it was scenes like that that contributed to Hong Kong plunging into recession, and that was before the virus hit. It was the last thing this city needed. The outbreak of a new virus causing fear and panic, with residents hunkering down and staying away from retail centers and eateries. In a blog post, Hong Kong Financial Secretary Paul Chan writes, the virus outbreak will definitely cause a double blow to the economy, with catering, retail, tourism, and consumer sectors falling into a deeper winter. Lo Chung-hei's business had already been hammered by months of anti-government protests, but the outbreak has packed another devastating punch. So you went from 700 bowls of your famous soup to now 100 bowls a day.
Yeah.
What has had the bigger or the biggest impact on your business? Is it the protests or is it the virus?
Absolutely the virus, not the protest.
And when do you think your business can get back to normal?
I hope we can get back to regular business after 3 months. I hope.
But Lo can't afford to wait any longer. To break even, he needs to make $6,000 a day. His daily take has dropped to below $4,000. He is bracing for the worst.
The worst sign is close the door.
At the back of his restaurant, Lo offers incense to a warrior god, a much-needed prayer for prosperity and protection. Most of Hong Kong's visitors come from mainland China, where many cities have placed residents on lockdown. And Hong Kong has closed a number of border crossings to limit new arrivals and the spread of the virus. As with SARS, only when the virus is contained can the Hong Kong economy bounce back.
And as you and your organization and your partners hand out over 1 million face masks during an outbreak, when do you anticipate you're going to put that mask back on the streets of Hong Kong?
After the outbreak of coronavirus, and I believe the protests and our demonstration will continue in this summer. People always assume the movement will decline because of the outbreak of virus. I think the outbreak of virus just enhance people incentive protest on the street to show our dissatisfaction to the government that is not elected by people.
No hay ninguna máquina en el mundo que pueda hacer hoy día todo un dispositivo con un solo alambre. Solamente son ellas, a través de ese conocimiento ancestral de los tejidos, esa dedicación, que logran hacer estas estructuras tan complejas.